Hello, this is Riding with Ree. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My channel is all about owning my first horse alongside my city career, so if that sounds interesting to you, then feel free to hit subscribe and join our little community. Today, as you can see by the table in front of me, we're doing all things tack cleaning with a slight difference. Through some brand partnerships and my own love of researching tack products, I have amassed an array of two-step tack cleaning products that are on the market, and today I'm going to put them to the test and see which one is best. We have over here the Absorbine step 1 and step 2, we've got Carr and Day and Martin in the middle, and then Lincoln Horse Care on the end here. And what I've got to do is got my normal bridle. I'm going to split this up into 3 pieces and see which one is best. And there are going to be 3 tests that we're going to put these tack cleaners through. First one is not going to be how clean the tack is, because I know for a fact that all of these will clean the tack, and I'm actually of the opinion that most of the tack cleaning happens with the watering and the hot water. What I would like to see, however, is how shiny the tack is afterwards, how elastic it feels, and then the residue that's left, because I find some tack cleaners, the tack feels really dry afterwards, like it's been completely absorbed, and with others you end up with this kind of sticky residue, which I don't love either. So let's dive into that. Before we get into the tack cleaning, I do want to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and that's YFood. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I've worked with YFood a lot now on their vegan range. This is one of the drinks. It is a meal replacement with 26 vitamins and minerals. They have several flavours. My favourite is chocolate. There's also vanilla, berry and banana, and they also now have vegan protein powders. I have yet to be able to finish one of these in a whole sitting because I get really full from them, and that says a lot because I can really eat myself. I was going to say eat myself under the table, but that's not correct. I can eat a lot is what I was saying. So massive thank you to YFood. If you want to check out YFood, I have a discount code. It's RE10. You can see it here. You'll also find all of the details in the description. They have vegan and non-vegan options, so whatever you're after, they're your bag. So first things first with this tack is to actually take it apart and then water it all, and then I will split pieces of the bridle by the tack cleaner and we'll go from there. So the actual bridle that I have here is the Shire's Velocity Dressage bridle with the flash. This one I tried out as part of a brand partnership with Nailers last year actually, and I really like it. I don't use anything else now. It's designed to give like comfort and take pressure away from the facial nerves. I found an instant improvement in Woody's way of going, so I'm really impressed with it. Okay, first thing is the neck strap. Let's give that to Lincoln. Let's give 1 rein, we're being very diplomatic here, 1 rein to Absorbine and 1 rein to Carr and Day and Martin. Let's do that. Throat latch to Lincoln. Let's give 1 side of the headpiece to Carr and Day and Martin. Also, am I the only one that says Carr, Day and Martin? I only actually really started studying the brand like 6 months ago, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Carr and Day and Martin. Other headpiece is going to Absorbine. There's only 3 pieces of tack left, so let's give the nose band to Absorbine, the brow band to Carr and Day and Martin, and the top of the headpiece to Absorbine. To make this even more scientific, I've got 1 water sponge and then 3 cloths for each of the different pieces of tack so that there's no cross-contamination of shininess and whatever. I'm going to water this tack quickly, perhaps have a sip of YFood, and then we shall come back. I saw a TikTok recently where someone was going through their tack cleaning routine and they didn't water the tack at all like this. They didn't do this step, which was warm water and a cloth, and I think it was an American TikTok, but I can't be 100% sure. And I thought that was a bit odd because for me, like, this stage is really where you get any grime, mud, sweat, all of that off. So I was like, well, how on earth do they get it clean before they clean it? Do you know what I mean? That's 1/3 of the bridle done. There's something psychologically good about splitting a bridle into 3. I feel like I'm doing this really quickly. I mean, it's never completely dirty, this bridle, to be fair, because I try and do it after every ride. One thing I will say is these reins have this lovely grippy stuff on them, which I love, but it can make them quite hard to clean because they almost like cling to the cloth. And so if you get sweat on them, which you inevitably do because it goes on their necks, it can be quite hard to get off. But it is fantastic if you're riding in the wet, I will say. See, this is what I mean about it being designed for comfort. Can you see the top of that headpiece? There's like a bridge that goes up, and there's like this gap in the middle, which gives like a little bit of space for the top of the head. It's just stuff like that, and it's wide, so it spreads out the pressure and stuff. Just all these little interesting features. Oh no, this doesn't look right, because now there's too many. Do you know what? Oh, the headpiece was here, wasn't it? This is going to happen, isn't it? I'm going to get them mixed up. Got to be more diligent. Do you know what the worst bit is? You'll be watching this at home and you'll be able to remember exactly which bit I put where. The watering is done. Each of these has a first step, which is sort of like the cleaning step to get the rest of the grime off. A wash is what most of them have called it, so removes grease, dirt and sweat. The one for Absorbine is called a wash. Deep cleans without leaving surface residue to lift out embedded dirt. And then the Lincoln saddle soap. No water is needed. Oh, well, fair enough, no water is needed. Making it quick and effective at removing dirt, grease and sweat. So all of these step ones are designed to like lift any other dirt that you have. So let's start with Absorbine. This was actually one I bought myself. So these two were part of separate brand collaborations. This is one I bought years and years ago, and it was the result of quite a lot of research into the best tack cleaner for tack. So really it should be pretty good. I remember liking it, but it's not the cheapest, it's quite expensive. I know that that would probably put a lot of people off, especially if you are tack cleaning regularly, but then I always think, well, what would be the cost of replacing a bridle that hasn't been properly looked after? Or what would be the saving if you could keep a bridle going for another year? What have you saved? Depending on how much you spend on your tack. Brow balm was here, wasn't it? I'm definitely going to get these mixed up. I need to be more disciplined. And then I don't clean these middle bits because they're not leather, they're rubber. So just, I've never cleaned them, but if that's wrong, do shout. Okay, on to Carr and Martin. So with Absorbine, there's like a slightly sticky residue, but it's not awful actually to feel, and it does come off looking quite shiny. We'll see if that like gets absorbed, I guess, or if it stays sticky like that. It'd be interesting to see. Oh yeah. Alright, so Carr and Martin is quite similar. It has this slightly sticky residue with that first step, but it does look lovely. Nice shine to it. And I think what might end up happening is that as we add the step 2, that sticky residue goes away. My tack does feel really dry at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if the step 2 of these, the conditioner, actually helps to make it feel a little bit more supple. Right, finally, Lincoln. This middle one was a spray. This was a spray as well. This is the only one that is like an actual gel, so it's thicker than the others, which I think means we shouldn't need as much of it. You can see how thick that is. Let's start with the neck strap because that's quite large. Right, yeah, very similar. Actually stickier than the other two, the residue that's left. And just while we're letting this sit, I would be really interested to know if there's massive ingredient differences between these three, because I know there's a huge debate in tack cleaning around whether or not there should be glycerine in it. So the Lincoln does have glycerine in it, I can see that. Carr and Martin, I can't tell, but I will try and find out on the internet. And this one, I'm pretty sure doesn't have any glycerine in it, because I remember buying it, having read the conversation about glycerine and wanting to try something a little bit different. So I'm pretty sure this has no glycerine. Okay, let's move on to step 2. So the Absorbine step 2 is a restorer and conditioner, and it just says extends the life of leather, cleans mold and mildew, gentle and residue free, revives dry or old leather. So it would be interesting to see if it helps my tack feel a little bit softer. So this is more of a gel, which is similar to the Lincoln as opposed to a spray. So it comes out a little bit thicker. Start with the noseband. Okay, so my initial thoughts is that I don't know that I would say that there's no surface residue there. I actually think there is a surface residue, and I feel like you need quite a lot because it seems to go straight into the tack, although that may be a symptom of if my tack is quite dry, to be fair. But it does offer a nice shine. Yeah, so it definitely looks shiny. It is a little bit sticky, but I'm being quite picky. It does feel better. It does feel a little bit better in terms of its elasticity and in terms of how supple it feels, but it's kind of at the expense of it feeling a little bit sticky. So let's see if Belvoir can do better. They've kept their conditioner in a spray. It's a glycerine conditioning soap, so I don't know if the wash has glycerine in it, but the conditioner certainly does. Softens, preserves and conditions leather, creates a protective barrier and leaves an attractive shiny finish. Excellent. So this is a spray, so that was a gel, this was a spray, and this one again is completely different, so that's quite interesting. Let's start with the brow band. Oh, really nice. Oh, I don't know where this lives. I think it was here. This one, I think it was here. I'm trying to, but you know what, I'm remembering as I go along anyway what it's feeling like. So, yes, it was here, it was, because there's only 3. Perfect. Okay, so, impressive. This is nice and shiny, if you can see. Hardly any surface residue at all, actually, not sticky. And a couple of sprays did the whole lot. Whereas with the Absorbine, I felt like I had to keep going back to the gel to add more to get my tack clean, which if you're trying to be economical, I feel like that matters, because how many sprays until the bottle is empty kind of thing. So far, I think this is my front runner. Let's move on to Lincoln. Now I said that the Lincoln, it's just chaos today. So this one actually says that it is a 1-step application. I'm obviously using it along with the saddle soap, but it looks like you don't need to do that. So it's made of natural oils and waxes, and it ensures your leather saddlery is cleaned, nourished and protected. So the directions for this are to apply sparingly and evenly with cloth, allow time to absorb and dry naturally, and then polish and buff to a high quality non-sticky finish. So this is actually kind of like a cream, if you can see. So let's see how we get on. I have used this a couple of times, and I do remember being a bit worried about like how much came out, but I think actually if you're leaving it to kind of go in naturally and then come back to buff it out, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and stay true to the instructions. Oh no, that is quite a lot, and just not put too much in. Just see. I don't know if I'm doing this right, to be fair. Sort of leaving it on the surface, maybe? That feels right. Maybe it's a little bit too much on the headband, but I'm sure we'll find out. I should have started with the neck strap really, because there's so much leather. Let's go back to the headband and kind of try to buff this out. Okay, so you do need a bit of elbow grease to buff this out, because it's thick and it's a little bit difficult to move around. Oh no, don't want my elbow in it. So it's not as easy to move into the nooks and crannies as like the Carr, Day & Martin or the Absorbine was, but the shine is actually fantastic. Look at that. It is a bit sticky. That shine actually I think is my favourite. It's a little bit sticky, but it does say in the instructions to leave it to dry, so I think that's why. Ah, stickiness is going. Okay, I'm ready. I have my verdict. This is not what I expected at all actually. So before we started, I really thought that my favourite would be the Absorbine, because I knew that I bought it having been in loads and loads of chat rooms and done loads of research about tack cleaning. But I have to say, for everyday use, quick tack cleaning that gives you good results, I think it's this one, Carr and Day & Martin. Leaves it feeling really shiny, really supple, moves on really easily and applies really quickly. But I think if I were getting a saddle or a bridle ready for a show, I'd use this one and this pair. Because even though it takes a little bit longer to work it in and you need a bit more elbow grease, actually the shine you get afterwards is like far superior. So if I show you the differences, I don't even know if you can see, to be fair, but I feel like the shine on this would last longer than the shine on this. And then honestly, the Absorbine, I don't know, I probably would drop it. I mean, if you would never really have 3 tack cleaners, but I don't know that I would use it again. It's a little bit sticky. Still sticky now. I had to use quite a lot of it to make a difference. So I think I'd probably get this for every day, this for a show, or at least this leather balm from Lincoln. Was really, really impressed. I think these two are fairly similar. I just prefer this one because it's in a spray and I found it was easier to get on rather than a gel. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you enjoyed it, leave me a thumbs up, leave me any questions or comments below, and I will see you again next week, Friday at 4 PM GMT. Bye for now.